A day after the chairman of the Independent and Boundaries Commission IEBC Wafula Chebukati claimed that he was coerced by officers of Azimio la Umoja One Kenya, now Azimio Executive Director Raphael Tuju says he has CCTV images of commissioners of IEBC Abdi Gulie Boyamolu that they visited his current home.
I want Mr. Chebukati to explain to me and to explain to Kenyans when he came to a secret location to meet with me, and what was that discussion about? At least he's talked about where 10 were. What was the discussion when he came to a secret location to see me in Karen? Number two, I want Mr. Gulie, or Professor Gulie, and Mr. Molu to explain what they came to do in my house. What was that discussion about? And the drift of that discussion was more of auctioneers rather than commissioners.
Tuju denying Chebukati's claim that he gave him an offer to persuade him to announce the results of the presidency for the benefit of Azimio wing, emphasizing that he was seeking to address the complaints that had risen in relation to the uploading of Form 34As.
The issue I'd brought up with him was that I'd received intelligence from one of the IEBC officials who complained that some Form 34A were being brought down and they were being replaced by other Form 34A. He was not able to know exactly the location from which this was happening, but he brought it to me once, first time, and I reported this to the DCI, who dispatched officers to have an interview with this person. This gentleman was so terrified, and he actually mentioned the case that he had been threatened by Mr. Majan when he brought it up with him, that he should not play with him, he'll know who Mr. Majan is.
Tuju claims that during his visit, the Kenya Kwanza agent led by Josephat Nanok were at the doorstep waiting to see Chebukati.
That Mr. Gulie, when we were having that discussion, left to go to the toilet for a very long time. And of course he left with his phone. And as we left that room after talking with them, the UDA officials, namely Nanok and Veronica Maina, were at the door waiting for us to leave so that they could get in. I think I'm acted within my right that if there's a complaint to be made, I should make that complaint. I didn't go in there alone, and I didn't talk to Mr. Chebukati alone when I presented those issues. And just as he wants to tell Kenyans about the discussion we had with him at the wee hours, about 4 a.m., I think he should be honest enough to tell Kenyans what he was discussing with Nanok and Veronica Maina as soon as we finished with him. I was further concerned by the fact that by that time, Chebukati had made a ruling that all the returning officers from the counties must report to him first before the verification, the papers are verified on the floor of the hall. I had concerns about that because he was himself closed in that room with Mr. Molu and Mr. Marjan, and therefore it was obvious to me that something opaque was taking place.
While this was happening, Azimio leaders converged at Jamhuri grounds in Kibra, demanding Chebukati's arrest.
Ni wazi ya kwamba Bwana Chebukati aliprint extra forms. Hiyo ni wazi. Extra forms of presidential results transmission. There is no reason why the DCI and the DPP should not move with speed and arraign Chebukati in a court of law. That cannot wait for the Supreme Court decision.
The ball is now in the Supreme Court to hear and give its decision accordingly, according to the presidential petitions filed after the election on August 9th. For Ebru TV, I'm Ode Francis.